All right, so everybody watching this later in TV land, I'm Michael. This is the Control Freak stream. Blah, 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 blah. Here's Death Shadow. Today we're playing some Jund Death Shadow. It's an archetype that has become increasingly more popular in the last several months, especially since the printing of like Scourge of the Skyclaves. Started off as Rakdos, now we've moved towards like this more mid-rangey Hex Drinker Tarmogoyf build, really utilizing a proactive game plan of good aggressive 1 and 2 drops like Hex Drinker, Tarmogoyf, Scourge to kind of get the ball rolling on the damage. Use removal spells to clear the way with Fatal Push, Lightning Bolt, Dismember, Seal of Fire, and Disruption to protect our threats, and then finish our opponent off with things like Temur Battle Rage. Some of the flex spots in this particular build, I'm not a huge fan of the 4th Hex Drinker. I think there's a lot of times where we just don't want to put the extra mana sink on the battlefield. So instead, we're playing a single copy of Seal of Fire and then a copy of Dark Confidant. This is a card that I saw recently in a 5-0 list and really wanted to give a singleton a shot, see what it looked like. Great target to get back like late game with a Luris. Good value piece. We'll see how it plays out. I'm not particularly fond of Dismember at the moment, but especially in Jund where you don't have access to blue, we might just want that extra piece of removal. In the sideboard, 2 copies of Kozilek's Return for the Auriok Champion decks, 2 Kroxa, 2 Tend the Pests for the mid-range grindy games. Tend the Pests, a card that's picked up in popularity recently. Being able to sack a dude, flood the board with 1/1s, and essentially go wide helps play through like ensnaring bridges against Eldrazi Tron. Plays really well in the mirror where your opponent's going to be going tall and you get to go wide. Plays really good against the removal decks like the Bring to Light decks. 2 copies of Soul Guide Lantern for Grave Hate, 2 Assassin's Trophy for everything from Tron land to just picking off annoying permanents, 2 Damping Sphere for Tron, 2 Veil of Summer for the mid-range mirrors, and Luris as our Pokemon of choice. So that's all we got for the deck tech. Let's go ahead and jump into our first match. Let me make sure Stream Decker is updated real quick. Looks good. Here we go. Match number 1 of Jund Shadow. We've been seeing a ton of Eldrazi Tron in the leagues recently. So that's kind of what we're keeping an eye out for. Brutal, how's it going? Love the emotes as always. And then at some point in the stream today, we are going to do a Red Bull challenge. So we're going to have I got some Red Bulls with me. We're going to do gifted subs for guessing flavors. I think Matt's going to do 1. I'll do 1. We're going to play in any challenges this weekend. It depends. I've got a work contract going on at the moment. And if it doesn't interfere, I would like to. If it does interfere, I might have an issue. Alright, so on the draw, we've got Hand Disruption on turn 1. We've got a Tarmogoyf that we can always play down on turn 2. And then go Scourges after that. So I think I'm going to keep this. It's good. It's proactive. It's about as straightforward of a Shadow hand as we're going to get game 1. We just need to try our best to hit our opponent with this Tarmogoyf and then go from there. I feel like if we can hit them once, get these Scourges snowballing, really turn them into legitimate threats, we've got a decent chance. Opponent moles to 5, so they could very well be on Tron. I don't know why this window like randomly resizes between leagues. Yeah, this is a great hand for the mirror, but with the opponent not revealing a Luris, I have to believe it's probably not the mirror. Could be like Burn or Prowess. Who's it? 8 whack. Alright, so if this is the case, I think I'm just going to go basic Swamp Inquisition here. Burning Tree, light up the stage. Let's take a light up the stage and say go. Burning Tree into Mishra's Bauble if they find the second land isn't the most terrifying start in the world. Alright, so like here, I would prefer to not have to get basic forest off of this. So I'm gonna try to play to not getting that. Alright. Take down game number 1. Alright, so 8 whack. Kozilek's returns look pretty great here. Rogues is an option, but it's a little slow. I really want to just be like on the board or sweeping and kind of disregard everything else. I'm probably just going to cut a couple Thoughtseize and call it a day. Like they're pretty good at throwing their hand out on the battlefield, especially with Bushwhackers and Burning Tree emissaries. So like I just want to have something on the battlefield as soon as possible. They reveal Lurrus for game number 2, which kind of makes me believe that they just forgot to reveal it game 1. But this is another good hand of like basic Swamp Inquisition into Tarmogoyf. Gotha Rebirth. Alright. Let's see what they're drawing into. Another Kuldotha Rebirth. Signal Pest. Haze of Rage. They only have 1 land at the moment, so I think I'm just going to take the Signal Pest. I don't really have a great answer for that at the moment. Alright, so their hand is Rebirth, Haze of Rage. Bushwhacker on top, but they can't kick it. Yep. It's quite a few lands. Let's get down Tarmogoyf. Their hand is Bushwhacker and a Haze of Rage. I guess we'll take the Bushwhacker. You're gonna have access to this this effect regardless. And now if I cast a Scourge here, if I attack them and cast a Scourge, I have to go to 7 to do it, which means I'm just dead to a kicked effect. So I think I have to hope they miss a land here and play to add Luris to my hand next turn. Alright. Like, I'm kind of assuming I'm just not gonna win if I don't get Luris down here. So block Memnite because of Koldatha Rebirth. Okay. Still not a land. Shannon, how's it going? Alright. So, important turn. I've got to decide if I'm attacking with the Luris, which I think I am, because if my opponent decides to, like, put a bunch of blockers on it, I'm pretty okay with just battle raging the Luris. Now, if they don't... Yeah, I think I'm still battle raging the Luris. Then I can take one to play Scourge. Yeah, take one, play Scourge, hold up Lightning Bolt here. I'm pretty sure I still die to a land, but okay. That was an interesting one. I don't believe I have 8 whack on the spreadsheet, so maybe I need to go make that adjustment. Can't say it's a deck I expected to see in the queues. Alright, what do we got for round number 2? Hopefully something cool. Maybe not 8 whack cool, but... Yeah. Probably help if I join the match, right? Alright. Reveal our companion. So we can go Lightning Bolt into Scourge if we need to go faster. We can go Thoughtseize into Thoughtseize. Let's see what we got. Teleria West. So initial impression is Amulet. I Thoughtseize, bolt myself, play a Shadow next turn. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So no. I think if it's Amulet, I need to start off on a Thoughtseize. Dryad, Titan, Summoners pack. Let's start taking away Titan effects. You should try streaming a different game like COD or something cool. I thought about playing some COD on stream. It'd be pretty fun. Alright, so I'm gonna go with that one. When in doubt, get on the board. Matt would join in for a COD stream. Man, it sounds like the work's already done for me, honestly. Alright, so doing this to get Scourge down. I open up a lot of avenues if I get Scourge on the battlefield, like Thoughtseize away the second Dryad, grow the Tarmogoyf, and then like Lightning Bolt them. Get a big Scourge attack in. They do have the ability to do that. Alright, so I could bolt myself to get a shadow down. Is there... If there's ever a purge, you're the first one I'm coming for. I made it to the top of somebody's list. Alright. Let's think. I can like Thoughtseize a Dryad, bolt them, attack for 5. I could Thoughtseize a Dryad. They play a Dryad, I dismember the Dryad, but I really need to Thoughtseize away this Summoner's Pact. But they can't play a Dryad next turn anyway, so I think this might actually be bolt myself, play a Shadow. I think that's what this is try to set up for like a lethal attack next turn. Like if I find a fetch land, then we're looking at something like fetch shock to 8, dismember to 4, Thoughtseize down to 1, bolt them or something and have a lethal attack. Beat Teleria West, okay. Razor, sure. Here's the fetch land. Right on cue. Go Blood Crypt. Dismember the Arboreal Grazer. Thoughtseize you, falling down to 1. And attack for 16 on the dot. Alright, game 2. Amulet Titan. Damping Sphere is great. Trophy's great. Croaks is okay, but I don't really want to go like too graveyard heavy and leave myself dead to Bajuka Bog. If they're playing Karn, couldn't OP have bounced the fountain and killed the Shadow? Shadow doesn't care about their life total. It only cares about ours. So whether they gained an extra 2 life or not wasn't going to affect the size of the Shadow. No, good question. Let's see. I could see trimming some number of Scourges. I don't want to trim all of them, but I can agree on some number. Like, Hex Drinker's not great here. Is Scourge better than... I think Scourge is better than Hex Drinker because of Arboreal Grazer. So this is a little all over the place, but I think I'm going to go with something like this and see how it goes. We're just trimming like a Scourge because of things like Radiant Fountain and Bounce Lands to keep Radiant Fountaining. Trim a Fatal Push because between Hand Disruption and the pushes we have, we've got a good number of answers to the Dryad. And then we're trimming what, the one Hex Drinker and the Seal of Fire, because these do really poorly against Arboreal Grazer. Then we're bringing in 2 Assassin's Trophy for like Bounce Lands, Amulets, Titans, and 2 Damping Spheres for the Bounce Lands. Let's see how it goes. The Sneak Robert in there. I went over it in the YouTube video or the YouTube intro. Not sneaking at all. Alright. So, opponent's mulligan to 6. This hand, like, has Damping Sphere, which is great. But I would need a threat, and I don't have a red source. So I think I'm going to ship this back and look for something better. I don't think this is going to be it. Alright. Bottom, second Scourge, and Hex Drinker. Or do we want to... Maybe we just bottom both the Scourges. We'll see how punishing that is. Guess who made the big brain play of bottoming both of their Scourges? How do you like Tend the Pest? I haven't gotten to cast it that many times, but the times that I have cast it, it's been solid. So, I can't complain too much. Yep. Land. Can you imagine if him actually touches Modern? It would be pretty crazy. Not gonna lie. I don't think him is the kind of card that just like breaks Modern or anything like that. But I don't know if I would go as far as saying like him is a good thing for the format. Like, I don't think it should be in Modern, but it's almost like in the same realm as, oh, what's it called? Like Skyclave Apparition, where it's not that it's broken, it just, like, shouldn't be in the format to begin with. Alright, so opponent ramped out their whole hand. One card left. I think I'm gonna play... what? Tarmogoyf here? And just get like a good beater on board. I can't... There's no reason to cast Thoughtseize, because if they do have like Titan top deck land, it's rough, but I wouldn't be on the board anyway. Karn, okay. That's a pretty good draw for us. So now I can swing both at Karn. Thoughtseize the Golos. Yeah, Confidant. I don't have any Croxes in my deck. So is there any benefit to second green over second red? Bolt Battle Rage. I guess second red's like a little bit safer. Guess I just draw running bolts. Alright. Need our opponent to whiff this turn. It's about right. Let's go level up. Level up. I'm sure it's like a bounce land in hand, but I might as well check. And then we'll go 9 at you, 2 to take out Karn. Is this Try Hard Friday? Kind of. I would be pretty okay calling it Try Hard Friday. It's like we're playing a variant of Shadow that I don't normally play. Alright, so this can get basic forest, which means we've just got lethal here with our level up gentleman. Make sure 6, 12, 14. Oh no, we're 1 short. So if that's the case, their last card in hand still basic forest. This is 4, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. Alright. Hope Bob is good and Jun so I can actually play them again. That's how I feel. Like, I want to play Confidant. I love Confidant. Not making this deck look good. I'm not doing anything. I'm just casting the spells. All I'm good for. Alright, what do we got for round 3? Beat 8 Whack round 1. Beat Amulet Titan round 2. Well, like, part of the reason that I'm playing Jun today is I really like the counterspell answers, but when the counterspells don't line up the right way, it's really awkward. So we're going to try out a day of just like ignoring the counter spells and getting our opponent dead. But for anybody that's here yesterday, we played 5 matches with Grixis and Scourge was dead all 5 matches. Like, our opponents either didn't do any damage to themselves, were actively gaining life. Alright, Seachrome Coast. So either spirits or ad nauseum. Yeah, spirits are ad nauseum. So is this like mono blue Tron? Like mono blue Tron with this flash? Or is this like one of the unburial rights gifts ungiven Tron variants? God, talk about a deck I haven't seen in a while. So I think what I'm gonna do is pass the turn and bolt them on their upkeep. Because I need to get Scourge online. So I guess we'll go for an Inquisition and try to land Scourge next turn. This way we can kind of play around like Remand or Condescend or something like that. One Tron land to throw people off. Love it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Geek Media is right. Like, I've played against a Tron deck before that was on Gifts Ungiven with Unburial Rights and like Iona and stuff like that. So they scried 2 to the bottom. Nice 3-card hand. I know. Not exactly what I planned to play against first thing in the morning. Say first thing in the morning, it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They top decked the Condescend. They scried both bottom with the Omen of the Sea. I'm just gonna say that. Top deck the Condescend. Scry 1 top, 1 bottom. Can we talk about that one real quick? They ripped the Condescend off the top and scry into the 3rd Tron land in their Tron deck that's not built around having Tron. Alright. Let's regroup. Never didn't have it. Played Hammers against E-Tron today. They went, well, I kept a mediocre one, so going to lose probably. Then proceeded to rip Double Chalice into Natural Tron with Karn and Dismember. I was watching a buddy of mine play Tron the other day, and he mulled to 2 and 1. Because he just like ripped Tron lands, and I think it was like 1 Tron land expedition map. And then just like ripped the 2nd Tron land and drew into threats. And I was like, I'm so over this game. You know, it feels like folks have been getting luckier recently with top decks in general, but I think it's because there's so much Tron, and they're prone to having top decks that just get there. So that's a good theory. My counter argument would be, how do you explain these Tron decks and their fortunate top decks that always happen to us? Like they're losing games in these matches somewhere, because you don't just have like 20 Tron 5-0s every day. They're losing some matches, but when they play against us, they're not losing. They're ripping what they need. Also, MTGO is like insanely laggy right now. At least I hope it's MTGO. I don't really have anything else going. I don't have... What is Tend the Pest for? Great question. So Tend the Pest is for like the removal matchups, where your opponent goes to target like a big scourge or something with a removal spell, and you get to Tend the Pest, trade it in for a go wide board. It's way better against spot removal. It's also really good at getting under things like Ensnaring Bridge. So let's get second red source. A for a Condescend. Folks like us play decks that are likely to get ripped on. To an extent, yeah. But I mean, like, Grixis Shadow with a whole bunch of counter spells and shadows should be the kind of deck that's, like, perfect against Tron, right? You've got Hand Disruption, an aggressive clock, counter spells, like, the trifecta of what you need. And you can splash in, like, some land hate, stuff like that. And yet, it gets wrecked by Tron top decks. Alright, so they scried bottom off of that Condescend. Hoovian coming in with a 4-month resub. Thank you so much. Happy Friday to you as well. Welcome back to the subscribers. Enjoy the continued access to our sweet Death Shadow emotes. Which reminds me, maybe after this match, we're doing a Red Bull guess. So I've got like a few Red Bulls on the table over here. We're gonna let everybody guess flavors, and we're gonna gift subs if people get them right. So get your guesses ready. EE on 2. Ah. So I could trophy the EE, which I don't hate. The downside is it does give my opponent 5 mana when they untap, but they do only have 1 Tron land. I also have to think about if I'm gonna trophy, what's my second play? Because if I go trophy, like if I play Damping Sphere first, I can't play a second spell. So that takes out the trophy plan. If I play trophy first, then my opponent's gonna have a second land and an island untapped and be able to interact with something that I cast. So where's my middle ground here? Croxa Trophy's a possibility. Like, I'm also considering Scourge Trophy. Just so, I don't think they play any sweepers outside of like the mass bounce one. What's it called? The Colonic Rift. They're nowhere near that. My concern with Scourge, or with Croxa Trophy, is that if they, like, it does play better against second EE, but I don't think I care that much about second EE. So I think I'm just gonna go Scourge plus Trophy the EE. And pray to whatever god I need to pray it to that my opponent doesn't have a Force of Negation, which A, probably shouldn't be in their deck post board anyway, and B, still lets me play like Croxa plus Goyf next turn. So it's not absolutely insane. And my opponent's probably wondering why the hell I'm playing another 2-drop into this EE. So I gotta take this out now. And now I've got, if they don't do anything, they're dead. If they bounce or only interact with one Scourge, they're dead. Alright, so let's go to combat. Alright. This could also just be like mono blue Tron splashing white for maybe Path to Exile or to Fairy or something. I don't think that would be insane. On the draw, I think I want second or fourth Scourge over Croxa on the draw. Thundering Titan main means gifts, Tron, almost certainly. Maybe, but like we haven't seen a gifts. All we've seen is mono blue Tron cards though. We've seen Condescend, we've seen Repeal, Worm Coil, we saw Sundering Titan, you're right. But like, we haven't seen Gifts Ungiven, we haven't seen any sort of reanimate spell. Yeah, but like Seachrome Coast and the Pathway, all we've seen is white mana, right? Like, I don't know for sure that it's not a Gifts deck. I'm just saying we haven't seen any evidence that it's a Gifts deck outside of supposedly one mainboard copy of Sundering Titan. So, like, if I were going in blind, I wouldn't have enough right now to assume that it's for sure a Gifts deck. So that's all I'm saying, is just, I don't know 100%, so I can't really make a claim. Alright, so Thoughtseize is a really good draw. It means that we can go turn 1 Inquisition, turn 2 Thoughtseize Shadow. And I like that because it lets us get all of our hand disruption out in the first 2 turns. And if they have like a really slow hand, then maybe we decide to play Tarmogoyf on 2 instead. Their hand does not look great. Maybe the second colors for sideboard cards like EE. That's very true. Like, that could absolutely be the case. Plus, Thirst for Knowledge is another blue Tron card, but it could very easily be like a reanimate card as well. Alright. Am I going... If I played Tarmogoyf here, it's coming down as a 3/4. If I Thoughtseize plays Shadow, I can bolt myself next turn to make Shadow a 4/4. I think I'm just going Thoughtseize Shadow. And they top deck Condescend. Gotta take that. Get Shadow down. They really like top decking these Condescends, don't they? I also really hate how it makes these pathways like multiple lines on the revealed cards. In before top deck repeal. Why you gotta do this to me? Let's crack in for 4. And we'll go ahead and play Goyf and Hexdrinker. Big reason here is if I get both of these down, the next turn I can spend all 4 mana with leveling up the Hexdrinker and like bolt myself to grow Shadow. So best case scenario would be my opponent paying 4 life to try to repeal my, or not repeal, dismember my Shadow there. It looks like they're going for Thirst for Knowledge. If they discard Worm Coil, it does grow Tarmogoyf. Do not. Interesting. That's got to mean that they like top deck Tron, right? Karn, Scion of Urza. That is a Karn, Scion of Urza. Alright, if I attack everything at them, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm not presenting lethal. I can bolt the Karn. I think what I'm doing is attacking everything at them. Let them block somewhere and bolt the Karn. Especially if they don't block Tarmogoyf. Alright, don't have Tron. Alright. Rio. Let's see. Now I just need to see Mono Black Tron and I can rest in peace. Black Tron exists. It plays Witch Claw, Talisman, and Profane Command. Lord. What kind of nonsense are people going to come up with next? I've seen Mono Red Tron with like Stuffy Doll and Blasphemous Act and that stuff. That was pretty fun. Won 2 paper F&M tournaments. Are you talking about like one was with the top decked Profane Command? When did you play a Profane Command? What were you playing? It's like that was one of my favorite standards, Lorwyn block, and I didn't play Profane Command. God, we win a die roll. There was Lorwyn. Okay. Touché. We believe in the second land. Yeah, we do. No dinero for blue-black. I played a ton of fairies during Lorwyn Standard. I was a big fan of blue-black. Alright, we're going... I guess we'll go Blood Crypt, open up this Seal of Fire since we only have 1 mana at the moment. Alright, gonna be one of those kind of matches, eh? I wonder if opponents playing Profane commands. This fairies, it could be. Very well could be. We don't have any clear indicators based on their opening hand, but... ask them. I'm not asking my opponent what they're playing. Game 1, turn 1 of a match. Like, if they're playing fairies, we're gonna find out before too long. I'm a little surprised that they took Battle Rage in their double Fatal Push hand. Doesn't seem like the kind of card that you would be particularly caring about. Delver of Secret. So it's just like blue-black Delver. Reason Borrower. Okay. Dude waiting for True Name to become modern legal. He is absolutely prepared. Alright, one of these days we're going to find a second land, and when that day comes, we'll be ready. Cryptic command to bounce my my swamp. Sure. Oh, we got a tar pit. Got a tar pit. Hey. Hey, we found a second land. Oh, we'll just go ahead and take you out. If they do flash in a brazen bar, we're here and attack with a tar pit. We're gonna take some damage. We actually just dead. I think we're just dead. Because we have to fetch up a basic swamp, go to 4. I guess we're not completely dead. We can go to 1. Let's go swamp. Assuming they've got a counter spell of some sort here. Okay. Let's try this again. So Veil of Summer. This is a Tend the Pest matchup. Broxa. Let's board out Battle Rages, even though they were terrified of them. And some Hand Disruption. I don't want to just board out one more Thoughtseize and call it a day. Like, Seal of Fire kills everything we saw, so I think I'm just going to go with that. Big Ben, how's it going? So far, we're doing good. K-Return looks promising. I think K-Return would feel better if they, like, had to overcommit to the board, but I just don't think they have to. And I don't want K-Return to be, like, my one-for-one removal of choice. Talk to me about the basic land slots, one of each. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the basic forest, but since I'm not playing Croaks in the main, I thought I'd try it out. Either they are savant to be 2-0 with this, or this is the new OP. Could be either, honestly. I'm gonna find out somewhere this game. But yeah, for the basic lands, like, I like the basic mountain with Croxa, and I like the basic forest when it's like heavy burn and prowess and decks like that. I wish I didn't have to play it, but here we are. Opponent soon to be 3-0. Whose side are you on here? Let's go. Fire pass. We can bolt, push, fail, whatever we feel we need to do here. After their full 7, so here we are, off to the races. If they're playing fairies, my loyalties are, as people say, conflicted. I could understand that if they were playing fairies, but they are clearly not playing fairies. They're clearly playing wizards. I think... No, Brazen Borrower is a fairy rogue, isn't it? Maybe I was supposed to just fatal push that so I can bolt a Brazen Borrower. But here we are. If we see Bitter Blossom, I'm gonna flip out. If we see Bitter Blossom, I'm gonna flip out. But I really, really don't think they're on fairies. Leave Brittany alone. Well then. Let's get rid of a lightning bolt. You say give Brittany alone? No, I said leave Brittany alone. Have you not seen that YouTube video? From a while back. It's this dude that's just like freaking out because people are commenting on Britney Spears having like mental breakdowns.
And if anything ever happens to her, if she ever commits suicide because of it.
And he just like starts going off like, you guys gotta leave Britney alone. Even made it to South Park, right? That's who I'm referring to here. So if opponent really should have, or really wanted to shrink the Tarmogoyf, they could have reliced themselves and exiled Delver. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Oh, if he goes to bounce this Tarmogoyf. Ooh. Ooh, fan me off. Fan me off. It's getting hot in here. Unfortunately, I cannot dismember my own Tarmogoyf. Bail me harder. I think I'm just gonna get down a Hex Drinker. Suffer not the Jace. Yeah! Fail a little Jace activation. Opponent starts getting worried. Alright, I think I'm just gonna board back in a little hand disruption. Seal of Fire is still like a little meh. I like Seal of Fire more than a fatal push. Just because I don't need Revolt to kill Brazen Borrower. And I can kill like a Jace that's down ticked or something like that. Clapping on OP. I would not say clapping. I'd say there's a little bit of fortunate favors that game. Some favorable wins, if you will. This hand's okay. If they have another, I was gonna say Dark Slick Shores opening, this is kind of awkward. But we do have just a lot of stuff. That's kind of nice here. Alright, well that can enable a Hex Drinker going forward if we need it to. Or not a Hex Drinker, a Scourge. This thing. This do well with this thing. No, words are tough. Let's get Hex Drinker down. Say go. What do I think of Counterspell and Blue-Black Shadow, or maybe a Sultai Luris Shadow? So, we had the question come up a little bit yesterday, and getting the public opinion is always nice. When you think of cards like Counterspell, we're thinking of comparisons in our decks, right? So if we're considering like how is Counterspell gonna fit in, we're thinking about how is Counterspell gonna fit into Shadow decks. So we're looking at what is Counterspell replacing, or is Counterspell creating a new build of Shadow? So as far as replacements, Drown in the Lock and Stubborn Denial are like the two front runners. Like, oh, I think one of these might be a reason to replace, or might be up for the replacement with Counterspell. And then after that, I don't think you really look at any other options. So if you're looking at Stubborn Denial or Counterspell, what are the advantages and disadvantages? In like your more aggressive Shadow builds, playing Counterspell on turn 2 means you're not playing a creature out on turn 2, which is a really big drawback. And if you are playing something like a Shadow or a Gurmag Angler, you're not holding up Stub with it. As this creature becomes a target of a spell or an ability an opponent controls, counter it unless that player pays 3 life. That is magic card you were allowed to put on the battlefield. Kill it, burn the witch. We'll see. I'm kind of curious what they're going to do with this witch. It's got menace. That's kind of cool. But I don't think they have a way outside of like me choosing not to pay life to counter the activated ability of Seal of Fire. And if they kill my Scourge or bounce it or something, then I'll probably just Seal of Fire the witch afterwards. So, if they play Jace here, what's my thought? I think I'm just taking this because if they play Jace and bounce the Scourge, I get to Fatal Push this plus Seal of Fire Jace. But it kind of looks like they're just relying on a like a Cryptic command. In which case, I'm more likely to want to do something like Tin the Pests and go wide. So here, I think I'm just going to hold up Veil and Tin the Pests and say, you got to deal with this. You cast or copy an instant or sorcery. Ah, I didn't know about that text on that card. That's interesting. So I can seal of fire them. Tend the pests off Peatland for 10 tokens. And fatal push their witch. I like that. Well, I can't push witch until after I sack the scourge. So I believe this is desperation mode from our opponent. Because they have to block this, which means we're guaranteed to gain a point of life. And now I think I just sit on Veil this turn. Ghost Gaming, or Ghosts Are Gaming, what card was that? That was Tend the Pests. So, who remembers somebody earlier this league asking how Tend the Pests was? Modern staple Tend the Pests. I think that was an answer. So let's take a quick second, 30 seconds, go over this card for anybody that hasn't seen it yet. So, new instant from Strixhaven. Yeah, Mo, it was you. It was you, wasn't it? Yeah. So, new instant from Strixhaven, black and a green. There's an additional cost to sacrifice a creature. Create X11 black and green pest creature tokens. When this creature dies, you gain a life, where X is a sacrifice creature's power. So, in our deck, when we're going big on Tarmogoyf, Scourges, Shadows, things like that, 1-for-1 removal is pretty rough. Tend the Pest lets us take that 1-for-1 removal and just turn it into a flood of 1/1s. So, kind of nullify your opponent's 1-for-1 removal. The reason we Tend the Pests right there was it stopped the card draw off Cryptic Command. It flooded the board for us. We didn't have to worry about Veil of Summer, or not Veil of Summer, Force of Negation right there because of Veil of Summer. And yeah, so we just took our opponent's removal spell, or bounce spell in that effect, and turned it into an army of 1/1s. But we had to make sure that we seal of fired our opponent first to get them down to 10 life, so that when we tapped our Nurturing Peatland, we got an extra token out of it. And yeah, that was the extent of that turn. So, on to match number 5. But a few people in the Shadow Discord, as well as a few more notable Shadow streamers, Shadow players, have played around with Tend the Pests recently and apparently really liked it. So I figure I might as well give it more of a shot. I've played it in the sideboard a couple times, but I've only seen it like once or twice, and it was fine in those times. Never as good as that, but serviceable. How's the Heliod matchup? I'm surprised on no Deglamour or Unravel the Aether. So, the Heliod matchup is kind of a funny one because, like, I play the Heliod matchup differently than other Shadow players, and that's kind of reflected in the win percentage. Like, I play a more controlling style of Shadow, so I'm less likely to die to combos and things like that. I place a bigger emphasis on cards like Kozilek's Return, and that helps out in that kind of matchup. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily favored, but you can certainly adjust your build to make it a bit better. The old I do tray. Mulligan to 5. So his hand's like not great for Shadow, but it does just have Inquisition into Tarmogoyf. And I usually put a pretty big buff on those kind of hands. So, if we can get this Goyf down, our opponent has to fetch to turn on, or to cast anything. So, we could get to a 3-4 Goyf pretty quickly. We do need to deal with this Chandra. So I think here I'm just going to attack for 3 and add Luris to the hand. Like, I'm not playing out a Shadow here into a blind turn. But kind of what I'm hoping is I can set up a turn where I get to do something like they play Chandra minus on the Tarmogoyf, and I get to bolt the Chandra. Confidant's a really good draw right here. So this grows Tarmogoyf outside of Chandra range. So I get to attack with Goyf, play out Confidant, hold up Lightning Bolt so I'm protected from any little thing. Yeah, Ponza's my guess. So the last 2 cards are Chandra Unknown. Now about to be Chandra Unknown. Another black source means that we can Luris plus Confidant. Yep. There's Chandra. There's our black source. The kill down Chandra. We get Overgrown Tomb is fine. The Luris, replay Confidant. There you go. Hope this is, yeah. Hope that's going to be pretty tough to overcome. Alright, post board against Ponza. Trophy's good. Take out Blood Moons, take out Utopia Sprawled Lands, things like that. Kozilek's Return is better the more seasoned pyromancers they have. So I might like bring in one as a hedge and not bring in the second. Croaks is awkward because they usually bring in a bunch of Relic of Progenitus, stuff like that. And then you can't actually recast or escape Croxa through Blood Moon. So gotta keep that consideration. Not really a Tend the Pests matchup. Things we want out of the deck. X-Drinker dies to Renin 6, so it's pretty weak. Otherwise, I think I'm pretty well keeping everything in. Maybe Hexdrinker's better than Dark Confidant. Kind of like Confidant, not gonna lie. I don't want to play out a Hexdrinker on turn 1 and have them like curve out a turn 2 Confidant to take it out. But after that, it gets a lot more appealing. Alright, what do I think about this? If they like fetch and shock, this hand's pretty great. If they don't fetch and shock, like play Forest Utopia Sprawl, this hand's a pretty big liability. Like, I'm not beating a Blood Moon. It's great if they lead Arbor Elf. So now my mind goes to this. I won game 1. This is game 2. I get to be on the play game 3 if it goes to that. So, is this good enough? Is there enough upside in this hand? Because I'm okay keeping a risky hand on the draw game 2. Since I know I get to go to game 3 at the very worst. And I don't think this has enough upside. Like, my best draw is a Thoughtseize off the top. And if I do that, I'm still not guaranteed to be able to play a Scourge turn 2. And I'm not able to play a Shadow until at least, like, turn 3. But yeah, we're shipping it. Keep this. Bottom of push. Being up a game shouldn't impact your decision. So, it's still like a bad Shadow hand. And I agree with that part of it. But if I'm gonna mulligan on the draw, like, I want it... When I'm saying I'm deciding whether to keep that hand or not, I'm more deciding whether or not on the draw that hand has enough upside. Because I don't want to keep a hand that just auto loses. Or a hand that needs too many pieces to function there. So maybe I phrased that the wrong way. Don't have a Blood Moon here. Mr. Scruff, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome Friday so far. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Kitchen Finks. Sure. Got a Kitchen Finks. I'll take out the first half of a Finks here. Gonna get a trigger at some point anyway. This also makes it a little worse against this Kozilek's Return. I could bolt myself and play a Shadow, but I'm just gonna go for the upside of hoping Confidant sticks around. But I guess the way I should have phrased that that statement was, I'm not gonna keep a hand. If I'm on the draw, I need some sort of like high upside. And the fact that I know I've got a game 3 behind me in my mind, gives me a little bit more confidence in going a step higher on the aggressiveness scale there. All right, so I could go Dismember a Sphinx, play a 4/4 Shadow, hold up Lightning Bolt. I could Kozilek's Return to sweep the board. What are my concerns here? Something like land Elder Gargaroth? Gargaroth is a 6/6, right? Gargaroth is a 6/6. Well, I have to feel, or I feel like if they played, or if they had a Blood Moon in hand, they would have played it last turn. Because that would have just locked me out of the game. I was tapped out. I had a Confidant out. So I just feel like if they had the Blood Moon, it would have been out already. They did just draw 2 off the Pyromancer. They ditched Bloodbraid, Wooded Foothills. Or no, they cracked Wooded Foothills for the bolts. They ditched Arbor Elf, Bloodbraid. And I'm guessing they drew into the bolt. Which means they kept 1 card in hand that was better than a Bloodbraid Elf. Ben likes Dismember Shadow. I'm gonna get the Shadow down this turn, but I'm wondering if there's any upside to like bolt myself Shadow and save the Dismember. It's like I can always respond to a bolt or something with Dismember a guy. But if they have like was mentioned, Glorybringer or something here, I want Shadow on the board and I'd rather have Dismember in hand. I can bolt myself to get around a Glorybringer Exert, but then I'm taking 4 off Dismember, going to 9, 3 off Bolt, going to 6. Glorybringer hits for 4, going to 2, and then just dying to guys on board. I think I'm going to go bolt myself Shadow. Hold up Dismember. We'll see how this plays out, but... Arn, okay. Sky Sovereign. Sky Sovereign is 6/5. I guess I could just like pull it up right here. It is. So that's my Dismember target. How do I work this? There's like nothing I can do if I don't draw a land, right? So I need to play Dismember here. Sky Sovereign bolt me. I don't believe so. Yeah, creature or planeswalker. Alright, so if I go... If I don't Dismember now and I miss the land drop, I probably die on the spot. But I think I have to dismember now. I can go kill something, untap, K return, wipe the board, kill the Karn. Gotta deal with a Sky Sovereign. But if it's just a Sky Sovereign next turn, I'm kind of okay with that. But obviously, if it's Sky Sovereign into something that can cruise Sky Sovereign, I'm dead. So does anybody know offhand if Sky Sovereign, or if like crew checks on resolution as well, or if it's just when you select the creatures to tap for it? Like, if I dismember a creature that is crewing, does it still crew as normal? Alright. Still crew. I kind of figured as much, but might as well check. So if this gets Ensnaring Bridge, I kill Karn, play a Tarmogoyf. On the bright side, I wouldn't have to worry about Sky Sovereign after that. Wormcoil. Okay. But I'd much rather than Ensnaring Bridge. I think that means I'm going face here. Does killing Wormcoil do anything for me? So, if I attack face, yeah, we definitely need TBR to win. I'm just trying to decide if the attack, where it matters. Because, like, if we don't kill Karn and they just get Ensnaring Bridge next turn, then we can't win through that. So if we can't win through Ensnaring Bridge, I don't know. I guess I'm not a huge fan of the attack at them here, because I don't see a big reason for them not to just get Ensnaring Bridge and slam it. And then we're completely shut out. But if we attack Karn, they have to play the Wormcoil. And maybe that gives us a shot here. It would have to be a shot like hitting running Battle Rages, but yeah. Can they win with bridge out? Yeah, they can get like a walking ballista, right? Like they've got the Karn, so I feel like it's not too bad for them to win with bridge out. Us, on the other hand, a little bit tougher. So Sky Sovereign can come down, kill off Luris or Confidant. That can kill Karn to start. That one, kill you. So we need to find Battle Rage and answer for bridge. Never mind. I don't think I want to kick a Scourge into a Bolt deck. So I'm just going to play it out. I guess theoretically they could always have something like Pillage to blow up their own lands. Or their own bridge if they need to attack. Yep. Alright, so I think we'll give it like 2 more turns to find either Assassin's Trophy or Battle Rage. And if we don't find one, we'll probably just make a quality of life concession. Like this turn, if we don't see Battle Rage or Trophy, we'll go to the next game. Does not do it. Alright. I was gonna feel bad if it was like Battle Rage into Trophy right there, but don't feel so bad without the Trophy. Alright, so Tend the Pest for bridge. Did see Seasoned Pyromancers, so Kozilek's Return looks a lot better. What am I boarding out for these? I just want to cut Confidant. Not really. Alright, let's go like this. Losses in this game, not worth wasting time. Well, it's not really wasting time, like, if we have a realistic out. If we didn't have an out, then absolutely we'd cut the loss early. Alright. Decent hand. I think we'll bottom Kozilek's Return. Like in one of K command in the main for stuff like bridge over Second Dismember. Probably a fair argument. I could get behind that one. Looks like they mulligan to 6 as well. Very convenient for us. Thoughtseize on top. Take another hand disruption spell. Alright, so let's take Lightning Bolt. We'll let them get their Utopia Sprawl. We'll get Dark Confidant down, and then consider trophying the sprawled land next turn. Maybe we see what they're drawing into, and if we don't care about it, then we'll play out Confidant here. So they've had one blind draw there to rip something that really punishes us. Not look like they hit. All right, yeah, I'm trophying this sprawled land here. I'll do it on their upkeep. I don't want to go to their draw step in case they happen to find a Veil of Summer. Confidant doing a decent job of refilling our hand here. Chandra is going to get dealt with. Alright, opponent's got a Forest, Windswept Heath. But we need to find a way to close out this game. Much as I love Robert, we need something a little more than him to have a decent chance here. Add Luris.
I guess we all have future pants. Their pants
Relic, yep.
And the next day. And the day after that.
Alright. Bloodbraid, Karn. Alright. We can deal with Karn.
And the day after that.
Their last card in hand is Windswept Heath. So we can fetch up a basic mountain and double bolt Karn if we need to. So do we want to go
And the day after that.
basic mountain? I guess we could also basic mountain, bolt the relic, attack Karn, bolt the Karn. Well, if I get basic swamp, then I can't double bolt. And I need to double bolt to be able to deal with it. I guess I can basic swamp, dismember the relic, bolt the Karn, attack for 2, put it down to 1.
The pants we're going to wear tomorrow. And
Not the worst thing in the world.
and the day after that.
Like, the big thing is just I don't want my opponent having the ability to search with Karn this turn. And if they find something like Bolt to kill Confidant, I can get it back with Luris, but I'd rather find like a Shadow here. A Shadow or a Scourge. I'll also accept Tarmogoyf. Honestly, would accept Bobble too. Heath. There's a Shadow. Okay. So let's go attack at Karn. Their last card is a land. They have enough to play second Karn, get bridge. Yeah, I'm planning on killing the Bob, so I'm holding up Bolt and K-Return. So if they play like Seasoned Pyromancer, I can sweep up the board and kill Bob. If they play something else, I can bolt the Bob. Bob is dead. Inquisition's a good draw. I can kind of clear the way. And that's how we 5-0 with Shadow. Welcome to my TED Talk. Alright. So, what do we think of that? I really like Jad's suggestion of a Colligan's Command over the Dismember. Dismember was solid that league. No huge issues with it, but the flexibility of something like K-Command would have been really nice. Dismember doesn't really do anything to like enable Scourges or Tarmogoyfs. It just grows Shadow. And I think most of the stuff that you want to kill is either A, too big for Dismember, or B, K-Command would have killed it anyway. Seal of Fire was like nothing great about it, nothing terrible. Hex Drinker, like, I feel like there's more games that Hex Drinker does all you want when you just level it up to 4 or level it up to 3. I don't even think you care about the 8 like 9 times out of 10. But getting it up to a 4/4 that just dodges removal is huge. Confidant was great that league. And the fact that we were only running 1 and saw it multiple times was pretty fantastic, but I thought it was lights out. Scourge was awkward against like mono blue Tron and a little bit awkward in spots where our opponent didn't fetch. But overall not terrible. Out of the board, Kozilek's Return was fine. Kroxa, we didn't see a lot of Kroxa matchups. Didn't see any Soul Guide Lanterns. I'm like more and more wanting to just cut these, because the only time I ever want them is against Dredge, and if we don't see Dredge, like, I don't care about that effect too much. Ken the Pest was amazing. We saw what it did against the blue-black Delver player. Veil was great. Assassin's Trophy was solid. Damping Sphere. We saw Damping Sphere against Mono Blue Tron, but we didn't need it because they didn't have a whole bunch of Tron lands the game we saw it. So, I guess that's good. What do we got in the comments? KG Elias. Do I need to play Hex Drinker, or do I need a Hex Drinker to play Jund? I think that Hex Drinker is really good. It's my favorite of the 1-drops. If you're talking about like Hex Drinker, Knight of the Ebon Legion, Swift Spear, Soul Scar, Narnum Renegade is Michael Rapp's been playing recently. I think Hex Drinker is my favorite. I can see an argument for not playing it, especially if you've got a local meta with a lot of lava darts. But to me, it's been the best. But I don't think it's necessary. I think as long as you have like a good one drop, whether it be Swift Spear, Knight, if Narnum Renegade's working out for people, that just something in that one drop slot that can be aggressive. But I really like Hex Drinker going into the mid game. Like playing out a Hex Drinker on turn 4 or 5, leveling it up 3 times is lights out. Didn't Michael 5-0 with a Jundish prowess list without Hex Drinker like yesterday? Yes. I actually kind of wanted to play that list today. Let me pull up his Twitter. Let's make the swap out here for a K command real quick before I forget. But yeah, I do like that Colligan's command suggestion. And I can even see like trimming a second Croxa or Soul Guide Lantern for another K command out of the board. We'll find some rapacious one. Alright. Let's build a new copy of this. 4 Soul Scar, 4 Swift Spear. It's certainly way more on the aggressive end. Oh. Got those. No Confidant. Shadows. 1 Inquisition. 4 Thought Seizes. No Fatal Pushes. 4 Swift Spear. 4 Soul Scar. 4 Mutagenic. I don't think I have. Do I have any Mutagenics? I don't think I do. I know I don't have Soul Scar mages. Don't believe I have any Mutagenics. I'm gonna have to rent some stuff real quick. Mutagenics are common, right? Nope, no Mutagenics. Mana base, we've got 3 Foothills, 4 Verdant Catacombs, Basic Swamp, Stomping Ground, Overgrown Tomb, no Peatlands, Mountain, no Forest, 4 Bloodstained Mire, 4 Blood Crypts. The things we're missing from the main. I know. Got something extra here. Four Soul Scar. There you go. 4 Soul Scar, 4 Mutagenic Growth for the main. And the board. Those can go. Add in an extra Veil. 3 Fatal Push.